for joining me. Polina here, chatting to you a little bit about this incredible full moon eclipse. It is going to be a blood moon full eclipse over the full moon in Scorpio that is going to be right next to the South Node. It is a very, very strong time. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being a friend of my channel. Okay, so right now as I'm doing this, it is the 9th of May. We are going to start to build up to a certainty, and that is one of the best ways to feel it and see it. Certainties, full moon is sometimes like the biggest, most meatiest, obvious thing, and we have to allow it to be small, you know. So like this is where the turtle wins over the hare, because it is a little bit more piece by piece, you know. So things have to be very nice and normal and simple. Taurus doesn't like us feeling too brave. All that bravery, all those guts, all of those insights, all of that freakishness we really needed in Aries. Aries was a wonderful, big and full-hearted window to accept and allow and participate on that really wild level. I think that right now it's not really for us to do. So what I'm saying here is, if you don't have enough heart for certain things, if certain things are not safe, if you're not well enough about something or somebody in your life, if you don't know how the story ends, leave it as this. We have to get basic and simple. So here is where the regime and day by day things help you. This is where people evolve you by just being simply your friends, by just being simple with you. This is where you get the most money or the most sustenance for something that you are doing, or you get the most results from tradition and classical thinking patterns, from that which you are doing normally and casually. Casual, normal, simple thought, casual, normal, simple action is going to get you 3 times more than running around and trying to create a big impression on yourself and other people. So impressions, that has to stop. We do have Jupiter going into Aries, and bye-bye goes the mind. So this is the worst thing that is happening, I feel. And I'm like picking this up, going on for like many people. It's like, I so want to please, I so want to just like walk out there and experience, or I so want to make this commitment, or I really, really seriously want to express myself wholly and intentionally and emotionally. I really, really do want to like hold it together or push it apart. I really, really, really love this, you know. So like that's the thing. It's like, to come to a head too fast is too hard, and sometimes people really want it to be just made out of anything or anybody. It's like, I want to love so much, I don't care if it's the wrong person. I want to succeed so much, I don't care if I have to lie in my job interview and such. So I think that we have to be quite obvious and durable and not be afraid of our innocence, which is what Taurus sometimes vibes as. Definitely to me, we don't need to be afraid of not having the community, not having the answers, not having the body, or not having the thoughts to really be able to pull through on that level. So sometimes it's like, but like, what if I like go that step extra? There is no extra step. So sometimes I want to spice it up. It's like, what if I decorate that which is going on under the surface, knowing that it's not so good, and make it feel unbelievable, even though I know it's not that great. So this is like putting makeup over an inflamed skin, inflamed face. This is like doing many, many things at once, knowing that you won't succeed, or like trying to drive things too far. You definitely don't have to do any of it. And the best thing to do is just to relax. Jupiter is just in the first little degree there of Aries, and just accept it. I accept that I'm here, I accept that I'm this, I accept that I'm this kind of person. I am willing to accept, okay, that this is the way that life is for me, or this is the state of brilliance that I was able to generate. I also feel that we don't have to make or create any more than we've done. So it's like quite a nice peaceful energy actually. But the moon, the full moon, is definitely going to push us to the what if. Scorpio likes an alternative sometimes, and there's also like this kind of like frisky, twisted way in which it'll be like, well, yeah, but like, what if I like jump in at the last minute? What if I say something now? Or like, what if I do something big now? And some of the time it won't get you that much, but it will get you annoyed. So sometimes, we get the Tower card and stuff like that in the reading, and we ask, like, what's going on? It's just like Scorpio sometimes wants to make things simple and quick, and we lose our minds. Luckily, Taurus on these degrees is still gonna help you. It's still gonna help you, like, get things cooking okay, and it will cover up some of the scars that might be created by a Scorpio full moon eclipse. But there's just no need for it. Like, look at how stunning you are. Look at how gorgeous your world is. We have Venus next to Chiron. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad, because like Chiron, Venus, and Aries, it's like, am I not enough? Am I doing enough? Do I look or feel good enough? Would my parents be proud of me? Do I feel proud of myself? Do I look good next to my brother or sister that have made something bigger in their lives and such? So we have to basically stop asking these questions of worth and worthiness, and the psychology changes straight away. I mean, we have Fortune over the DC, also VX. We don't have to make so much hullabaloo about things, and also you can just leave. It's a really nice time to leave things rather than try to spruce up what is not making you feel good. I mean, like, a lot of people love sprucing up what makes them feel not so good. Like, this is like the whole makeup industry. It's like, I've got a little blemish here, but if I do this and I do that, I kind of look like what, like, my peers think is fantastic, and I think I can get away with it. Like, I think I can get away. It's like, yeah, sure, my paperwork is not so good, but like, I can put in a little bit of a extra, like, sprucing on my paperwork to make it look really attractive for the job giver and such. So I think that all of this sprucing is actually kind of like a very beautiful part of us. I think as a human race, I definitely understand why people put so much sprucing into a previously non-existent or dysfunctional world, and I definitely understand why. I also enjoy sometimes a little spruce, even though it doesn't mean anything. But I definitely do feel that we have to come back to a nice, normal, simple pattern. So it's like, if you are not comfortable in this, don't wear it. You don't like the dress, you're not comfortable in the dress, don't wear the dress. It's like, you're not comfortable talking to this person, don't talk to them. Like, so it's about comfort levels and being just kind of like so sometimes. And I know it sounds like really uncomfortable, but like, just accept mediocrity. Like, sometimes it's a good thing, or like, you just got a good thing going, or it is as good as it gets, or this is just it. Like, this is great. There is a casual aspect also of this Jupiter going over the ascendant line. I mean, to me, it looks really nice just as it is. Like, don't worry about it. Like, your hair, didn't have time to brush it today, or like, you just didn't care. Like, okay, like, just part with that idea, with this message that you have to be perfect all the time. So perfection and obsession with details, wanting to be very, very special in front of other people, and knowing that you are, but also wanting to push that extra level. That is good, depending how it is. I just feel that there is some careful stuff that we have to take care of. So, for example, Venus Chiron. Obsession with ourselves, obsession with our psyche, obsession with what we think, what we feel, how we look in front of people. Just like, you don't need to grind it, you don't need to iron it unless you are very, very special at it. So this is like, for example, you're a master psychologist and you're trying to crack your own thinking patterns, or you're like sitting there in bed trying to understand why you do this or that in life. Why do I do this? Or like, wow, why does my body not work? Why do I still have pain here or pain there? Yeah, for some people, there is definitely a time, but if they're not masterful at it, you'll just run around in a circle. So this is where, your maturity, full moon and Scorpio also, it's all a part of it. So it's like, can I maturely afford to make this change, or can I really fully like see the story in a mature way? If you don't see it in a mature way, chances are you'll do many little things to try and help yourself or another person, and then eventually it cracks or falls on its face, or just doesn't do anything. So it's like one of the worst things that has happened to me, I think, in my life, is like putting a lot of money, energy, attention, or just time into something or somebody, into a project or some kind of way that I was trying to work myself out, and then understanding that it didn't have to be done, and I just fussing. It's like fussed around, and I like put all of this together, and then eventually nobody got to see it, nobody got to hear it, or like nobody actually really could afford it or be a part of it. So it's like, when you look at it like this. It's like making very extraordinary effort and then not getting anything back. So when we are doing that, we have to notice that we have to put a stop to it. It's not just about putting a stop. It is understanding maturity. So to me, this Jupiter over the ascendant also means you are the breath. It's like you are the breath of nature. It's like you just walk through. Imagine a person walking through very fast with big steps, doing things in a big way. You know, it's like picking big bunches of flowers, you know, changing their life, you know, seeing the big color, like the big color scheme, like looking at the largeness or the vastness of the ocean or the landscape. There is like a lofty, casual way that things work the best, you know. So what was it about you that made you lock up? I've been looking at that last night for myself. It's like, what has made you fuss over the details? What made you shy about yourself? What made you paranoid or upset about not getting things done right? What has made you helpless? Wow, that's a really big one. Helpless or childlike or unable to compete. What made you feel like you couldn't be part of that game? What made you feel like you're always the bridesmaid, never the bride? Who made you feel like that? So this is not really just about that. It's just about trying to work out these patterns. I don't really think that everybody should do this. But for some people, it is just a question. It's like, why am I choosing irrelevant energy to walk with me? Why am I choosing a process that is not beautiful or big enough for me? Why do I have not enough joy, life, or color in my life? Or why am I choosing negative or maybe uncomfortable or just impossible energies? And what for am I also seeking the comfort of that which is impossible or that which is out of reach? Also, we have to understand, because of Christian conditioning and other types of upbringing errors, you know, sometimes people just really, really want to know why, how come they're the way that they are, and you know, why they're so bad, or like why do I need so much attention, or like why am I so needy, or like why am I angry? Why do I feel irrelevant? Why, like, no matter how much I work, I never get a result? Like, all of these, like, futile energies that sometimes people work with all their lives, you know, they might come up now. It's like, why do I never commit to the right things? Why do I put so much work and effort into my body and I never get a result? Why do I eat so much? Why do I never explain myself properly? Why do I not really fully see who I am? Like, why can't I respect my mother? Like, what is going on? Like, all of these whys. I've been working on them half the month. It's been actually really good. But like, we have to understand that you can't answer every question. You know, some of the time I've actually noticed we have also Hygeia and Scorpio. Okay, this is really hardcore. If you're not very good at answering these things and you really want to, you might need help. You know, maybe you need a philosopher or a psychologist or like a friend to get you through. Some of us don't know, like we don't know how to do it ourselves. Like, say, if you have like a dental issue, you can't just do it yourself. You know, you got to go see somebody to do it. Sometimes it's not okay to wait. Also, I think that people have to be very, very brought forth and conscious and happy about who they are. And if this moon is to give you the most of what is God, it is good to be safe and still and not jump up out of your seat. So like some of these energies I feel are like children on the bus asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? What's wrong? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my wife? What's wrong with my child? So like a lot of this kind of like unneeded motion and fretting about and deprogramming the moment is very, very sad, because we might actually lose a lot. We might lose everything. We also have Sedna close to the sun, and Eros and Sappho and Mercury. Okay, I'm going to try to kind of bring a context to this. North Node especially next to the sun, and Uranus not so far away from the sun. We have quite the stellium here between Taurus and Gemini. To me, it's a very, very nice, delicious decision-making time for all of us. I feel that like when you get that beautiful sense of satisfaction of finally getting that, it's going to be epic and joyful. When you just finally crack your life, when you finally understand what you had to do. It's like going to a chiropractor almost, and getting that appointment that you really, really needed, or it's just like, yeah, okay, I got it, I can crack this. It's like finally finding the ingredient for your kitchen, finally fully understanding what supplement you need to take, finally fully cracking, finally recognizing why you've been struggling with money, or what for you've had so many friends but nobody actually could really hold your hand through things, or why you couldn't really fully commit to that best friend experience. You know, lots of different things can happen during this particular moon. I think that the best thing is to concentrate on the obvious. I know that we can really go like out there. I feel that some people really want to. Also, the Sedna, it's like a lady tied to a post, you know, with a dragon next to her. You know, it's like the maiden in the middle of the ocean. It's like a story. She doesn't know how to break free, and it's like this desperation, you know, desperation that's happening. It's like I want to break free, even if it's like at a cost. You know, we have that melodrama, you know, especially if you're a very dramatic person, if you feel like somebody's corrupting you, holding you back, or like some part of society or some part of you is feasting on you. And it's really nice to know and see these things inside ourselves as well. But you see, like, we just better crack it. So how to do it better? And I can't fully tell you how to do it better, because I think that some people need to go through a very messy experience and have a very out of mind, emotional, deep and penetrating, like scream of the heart first to be able to see the forest for the trees. But I think that for most of us that are quite happy just doing what we're doing, and we don't want any extra stuff to happen to us or extra stuff to contend with later, it's nice to just see you as you are. So like, for example, not for everybody, but for some people, just good to order and space things out. You know, for some people, it is definitely nice to look at contracts and paperwork. I think that some people would be very good at not necessarily signing, but at least crafting contracts or thinking about what you could be a part of. We have a very nice aspect of Saturn to North Node Sun. It's a very, very nice idea to be safe on things, though, and not speak too much, or overstate, or overpromise. It's very emotional time also to be respected and respectful as you are. Allow that niche in which you belong to be okay. Like, let your heritage be exactly what it is. Allow the truths to be the truths. It's very nice to let matters resolve by themselves. It's also good to allow the people to know more than you, or for you to see a doctor, a professional, or a psychologist, or anything like that, to help you with certain things that you can't just fully yet crack yourself. It's quite okay to ask other people how it's done. It is absolutely not a fright to be back at your job. So, for example, back at the desk, or to be back in your previous territory, is quite okay to do things safely and organically. But you don't have to just sit it out there if you haven't experienced any culminating moments, which I don't feel is possible. I think that this month was that Venus Jupiter time, and it really had to climax. I feel if you didn't have any culminating moments in this month specifically, or you have nothing to offer, nothing to say, or you feel that your life has done absolutely nothing for you and has just been like a drab old dress that you didn't want to wear anyway, and all of that stuff. I think that is not true, or not in tune. Or if it is actually happening and you do definitely feel like life has done nothing this month around, try to understand that part of you, because I feel that some people just like the joy of drabness and the story of being left behind, which is a Sedna thing, and not having enough, or not having a certain type of outcome within which there is so much peace and joy and truth. You know, Maki is close to fortune, so I understand maybe we want to appear motherly or homely in front of people, or some people might want to embrace a certain demographical ideology as to who they are and who they're going to be. I definitely understand why a person has a relationship with a drab life. You know, so like, I want to be just a drab person. I don't want to move. So that's like the shadow side of this time. And I think that's also okay. And I understand if some people really also are unconsciously after that sort of semi-glazed lifestyle, which is an okay thing also. It's totally fine. If you don't want to move or learn or change your life, that's absolutely fine. Not everybody gets to do that, but consider that there's an opportunity to learn at least, or at least to get things done right after like years of getting them wrong. So to me, it's like a medical moon. Chiron is really enlightened by Venus as well, though it's really hard for us to see sometimes, but there is like a problem solving time. It's like a product slash solving of problems. It's like we get a certain outcome, or we at least have an idea, or like a vulnerability that is deep enough to be able to solve some things, which I think is absolutely fine. And you can also see at how it's done on the other scale. You can also see how other people have done it or what they're about to do. So it's like to do with groups also, yeah. So maybe like your group or your family, your mom and dad or somebody can shed some light on things. People closest to you could be an attractive way to up your game and up your psyche. I think that a lot of people are very loving of who is next to them at the moment, or can benefit from another person, which is fantastic as well. And yes, of course, some people are very hard with others and they just take advantage of them, and I understand that as well. I understand that that happens. That happened to me this month a couple of times, and I fully understand. It's like just how people sometimes work it, and that's also okay. And the best way to basically do it, I feel, is just to be absolutely nice and tight on your own schedule, on your own work, not to get afraid that you are still part of that. So it's like, oh, I still work for the job, or like, I'm still kind of like doing things with that person. Oh my gosh. All of that is okay, but without a certain type of stability, not necessarily stagnation, but like without a certain type of given space, it's going to be a hard mood. So this is like strapping in for the ride. So it's like when you are on a plane or when you are in a boat, like there's strap in or strap on objects, So it's like you got your vest, you got your buckle, you got your seat belt, whatever, your harness. I don't know. You have to have some safety here. So it's like strapping on for the ride. Strapping in just to be able to be okay for the next current of events, because I don't feel that this is going to be easy for a lot of us. So this is just like a little spill as to how to protect yourself from over intensity, or like even an overabundance of energy that might pull you out with the root. So like the worst thing is that immaturity, I feel, and wanting to kind of flail around might cook up some very strange situations. So for example, not knowing how to ride a motorbike, being on a motorbike, riding a motorbike. Okay, so like one of those things, or like say not having enough maturity or sophistication for a certain situation and then pushing it on. Not having sufficient paperwork, also fraud is likely during this time. Um, Being unable to participate, but thinking that you are like being quite weak or quite damaged or destabilized, but thinking that you can hack it. So Tiger Year is not about forcing yourself to drive it. It's like you build up strength, and then when it is casual and peaceful for you, you just make things happen. So it's like you just know what matters, and you know how to make things matter more. So the Scorpio moon is like knowing how to act and knowing how to do and draw the line, or open a door, or change or transform your life when the moment calls for it. So like, for example, it's a difficult discussion. You don't just sit there preparing your paperwork, like, what am I going to say, like your words for like a very serious meeting. You just are in front of that person, and suddenly you know how to masterfully answer any question, or how to masterfully bring your point forward. This is not a time of intense humility either. I feel it depends. It's like in the balance. It's sort of like everybody is in a different state, open or closed at this time. So I can't really fully make this video specifically for you. But the main reason why things might not work during a Scorpio full moon eclipse at the moment is simply because we do so much, we say so many stories, and we try to get all the details right. We really want it to matter. We really get nervous, we really want to spruce it up, we get shy, we get emotional, we feel vulnerable, and then eventually that big story closes. We might not be invited into that next window, or we might not be able to hack it. So it's like, do you have the guts to just simply freely and easily do it? Jupiter likes a winner. On the ascendant point, Aries first degree, it's like, are you victorious? Look how far you've come. Can you just like sweep in and do it? Can you just enter that gate? Can you just be that prince or princess? Can you just make that move? It's like when we are walking, like, do you get huffed and puffed, or can you just walk for ages and not even notice you're walking? When you're drawing, when you're dancing, when you're talking, when you are making friends, when you are walking to a job interview, when you are giving yourself that next scale of events, do you have it in you to make it quick and easy for you, and just like abundant? So like the point is not to skimp and save. The point is not to be like a tiny small person in between large boulders. You know, it's like, oh, these people are so huge and I'm so small. You know, it's like the point is to be nice, quick, and easy result. Also, Chiron Venus, you know, if you are a very good person at something, if you have got a really good result for somebody, or you know how to crack their algorithm, fantastic. It's like, I know that this organization really needs me. I know that, you know, and walking in without having to puff yourself out more than is proportionate. You know, so this is not about cooking up a CV like for a job interview that is just filled with lies, or like trying to kind of like milk a stone. It's not like that. So like, are you milking a stone? So what I mean is like, are you trying so hard with things just that that will never happen? Like, are you making friends in places that are really fully out of reach for you? Are you making stance for the sake of like evolution, for the sake of changing your life, or you know, keeping your life going the way it is? It really doesn't matter. Are you making some inappropriate decisions, basically, is what I'm asking. So what I mean is, inappropriate decisions is just like things that don't make sense. It never made sense. You know, it's like, so having to here be this person, or having to do that wonderful thing, and cooking up a lot of life results way too fast, or like not being able to like say a thing or do a thing when you're actually asked to act. So it's really, really important to be able and available to change. But like, the question is, do you feel entirely mature enough to be able to handle the next state of results? You know, so for example, sure, you get this job. Can you step up? Can you really provide? Can you bring it? Can we bring it? Can we kick it? Or can we just only talk about it? And that's the thing. It's like sometimes results or illusions, you know, are not there. You know, sometimes, like for example, a certain plan or reality falls through because it just cannot be done. It cannot be cooked this way. So, like for example, you have a very, very nice friend. They drop out for real good reason. Either you or them, or like the situation is just not mature enough. So it's like the cooking and the guts. You know, so it's like the digestive juices. You know, do you have enough guts? Do you have enough, I know, stomach acid or enzymes to be able to process this experience? And also for some things that are very, very aggressive for you. So like, I understand on Scorpio moon, maybe sometimes people get very arrogant, very bossy. Like suddenly it's like, yeah, I know what I want in my life. Or like, yes, I know exactly what I need. These energies, you gotta make sure that, you know, it can be part of your future as well, because we have some of the future designs here. If you're stepping up and you're getting very crude or very vulgar or very vocal about stuff, like, can you handle the result? Like, say you're promising the future, you're stepping up as a father or mother to somebody, or a politician, or community star, or like papi, I don't know, whoever you are. For another person here, it's very, very important to be blessed and full-hearted during a window like this, and not to make a mistake. So for example, surgeries, incisions, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Like for example, you're a new tattoo artist and you have your first client. Okay, try to do it another day, you know. So like, surgery is bad with a person that doesn't know what they're doing. Spending time is not very easy with somebody who is not a master or is not like a craftsman. We really, really need you to be in proportion, you know, so don't overpromise anything. It's like, yeah, I can dye your hair. Like, sure, I've done it twice. I can do it. I can bleach your hair for you. Just for like, don't take on a job or a lifetime. We are in a really large cycle to some degree with Saturn aspect to Sun. We are not really going to be all that we need to be if we aren't really yet sturdy. But for some people, there is a proposition. It's like, have you ever done this? Try this. Hey, how about you try this? How about you do this? It's like, you're a master painter. How about you try a painting slightly bigger than the ones your size? Or like, you're a master violinist. Why not try the sonata over here? This is a classical sonata. So like, amazing sonata. So like, there's like a way that you might not be able to fully process your life or know where your next step is, but Uranus and the Sun and this North Node goes, hey, I feel that you're a master, and because you're a master, you're going to get this by accident. It's like somebody, word of mouth, gives you the right situation, by some classically crazy and creative means, you get landed into the right job or sphere of people. It usually takes absolutely no effort. I'm going to have to even overstate this a little bit. If you are meant for that upgrade, and if your soul is meant to be on that next level of life, if you are meant to now get that employer or that next creative cycle, if you are needed for an even larger, more brilliant state of yourself, if you have to be on that next level, if life really loves what you're doing, if you are really pushing the right buttons, and if you are really available for the next stage of events, it'll happen by absolute, utter, sheer accident. Like, say you walk into someone's house to do a job for them, like, say, I don't know, you're like cooking for them, okay? And then you start singing in the kitchen and they love your voice and they're like, you know what, I'm a musician, I really love your voice, can I record your voice? We're doing a project with my friends, can we all like hear you sing? You know, this is like a big career move, you know, for some people. Or for example, you're working on the garden, okay, and you think that's that, you know, I'm just going to make this garden and all good, like I'm fully down to earth and humble and I'm doing things that are every day possible for me. And then something happens and suddenly you have like a huge bunch of seeds that you've never seen. It's like, wow, like what are these seeds? Like they just landed in my hand, and then from these seeds you could make an even better garden, or you can even become like a specialist or a biologist. You like study these things, you know, if you want to. You suddenly might feel like an inspiration, like through your DNA come through, and like I can even be bigger than this. It just comes in as a knowing, but usually when we really know, we got to step up. So for example, from gardener to a biologist, or from like a housemaid to a star. When we have this happen, is not because something in us felt that we were not enough, or we got to like get there, we got to like pull ourselves up. There's no pulling. So there's no pulling on your inner system, there's no pulling on your endocrine system, there is no forcing it. It's not a forceful thing. It's just like, wow, here's your card, like here's your next step, here's the next phase of your world. Wow, like it just happens. It doesn't need to give you that much, you know. People don't have to like smile at you politely to offer you that next phase. It's like that life just should give you these next phases, almost as if not just an accident. It's like as if things that should have happened maybe in your parents' life, you know, maybe things that you were not able to see. And yeah, some of it can be quite rough, you know. It's like standing there in the rain at the bus stop, not knowing what to do, you know, like having your headphones in your ears, you know, waiting for the bus, it never comes, you know, and shuffling through and then landing on that song. And then that little line in the song as the bus comes, you know, is your message. And then you hear that song again and again for a while and you realize what you have to do. Even things like that, like inspiration, unlikely and uncanny inspiration of the heart, and changing and channeling your energy differently. You know, the other fixed signs are balancing this act between the moon and the sun, of course, sun stellium. So we have Leo and Aquarius, of course, balancing out Scorpio and Taurus. So like the pineal gland and the heart are the way to balance things out. So if you want, you can just, you know, stay safe with this. You don't have to fluff around, but turn up your inspiration levels. And if you like, you can ingest more fresh fruit and juice and change your bacterial balance and try, like, I don't know, like some nice zesty vitamins or something, just to feel a little bit more good and a little bit more up and coming, and like a little bit more innocent and fresh in your step. So innocence, for example, waking up like at 5 in the morning, you know, watching the sunrise. What an incredible time, you know, to feel that. You know, if you love, for example, gorgeous cinematic music that makes you feel like you're living in an epic life, you know, sure, do that if you like, but don't force it, you know. So I think that some people only need to pull up on their confidence and their self-esteem. And for some people, yeah, it's a biological question mark, because drab diets, drab houses, you know, drab friends, drab means of making money, drabness cannot be anymore. I think a lot of people that are just like dusting away, you know, dusting away in somebody else's life or an imitation of their parents' lives. It can be a really dark time for them, because there's simply no light and not sufficient, like insufficient juice or insufficient harmony or freshness to be able to pull you through. Scorpio is not a scary sign. Like sometimes it asks a lot of us. On these degrees, it's just about like, it's actually Orpheus in a way. People think there is like an extra sign of Orpheus between Scorpio and Sagittarius. It's like a big, brave world, you know, a big decision-making process, or a lighter color scheme, or a tastier flavor, or a zestier collective. And I definitely feel that for quite a lot of people, maybe there's been many months or years where they just believed it was unaffordable. So abundance and maturity, Taurus and Scorpio, it's like, oh, we can't afford that, honey. We got to stay here. Or like, I don't think I can be brave enough to do this. I'm not competing here. Like, look, just don't even ask of me. So what the eclipse season does basically is it might pull you down if you're somewhere ahead of time. It might slap a person or anger a person that doesn't know what they're doing and they're still wasting time. Liars and fortune seekers, people that are walking around behind closed doors, behind the scenes, doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Liars, you know, and also people that are not within law. I feel that there is definitely like a slap on the hand for anybody who's telling people things that they don't actually understand, and a slap on the hand for anybody who is non-committal to things that are actually proper for them. So like wasting time, kind of like here and there, I don't know where I am. Well, you have something very important cooking under the surface. I think it's a very, very big time for commitment and contrasts. For example, if you have a issue, like say if you have a health issue, it is a really good time to face that today. It's very, very good to not any longer have your head in the sand about some events or situations in your lives. It's very, very good to tell somebody who's meaningful for you about who you really are and how you feel. It's a fantastic time to really get rid of that which you're carrying that is too strong, too powerful, just uncomfortable for you. It's very, very great to be uncomfortable and also no longer in comfort of those things, people, situations, and commitments that are just not growing you. To be absolutely fine, that you're not part of things because they are not available or appropriate for you, or that you are not conscious enough or not in the right category to be able to face things, you know. So like some opportunities might be broken or lost, either because you're not responsible enough, or because you can't handle it, or you don't have the guts to do it, or you are lying about who you are in the story. So if you have like quite a big cycle fall, you know, if some things just crash and they just disappear, chances are you're not meant to be there for quite a few reasons. So it's like life doesn't want to elect you as that person anymore. So for example, also like losing a job, losing a loved one or a situation, not being able to be in the heart about certain things, having not enough mastery or not sufficient know-how in terms of where to deal with things, or if they aren't interesting for you anymore. So it's like, okay, example, having a breakup or having a thing that doesn't support you anymore because it is not sufficient for you. Like that person or that situation cannot fulfill you. So they're like the skin of the snake, and the snake is going into the next direction. Orpheus holds two snakes. So like Orpheus is like the traveler, you know, the master, like the shaman in a way. So this is where the moon is landing on this point here. It's about having mastery over the yin and yang, over the feminine and masculine balance, over the dark and the light, you know, over what is needed and what is not needed, you know, what is and what isn't appropriate, what is and what isn't sane or safe, you know. So for example, if you're doing some very, very big things, you'll know, you'll see it. It's like things happen, you get funded, you meet the right person, you get the right inspiration, suddenly you have a manifesto. All of a sudden people bring you something for free. People, for example, bring you ingredients for free. You process these ingredients and you make something from them. It's a really, really nice time for hand-me-downs. Hand-me-downs, for example, this very, very amazing person lived all their life through fighting and doing things a hard way, but they have really strong muscles and they know how to respect themselves and the opponent. You know, like for example, they did Muay Thai or Taekwondo all their life. This old guru of movement, you know, and you know, physical touch, physical energy, master of aggression, master of frequency. This person can be a really good teacher to you now. So like the hand me down thing, I'm going to hand down my teachings to you. Like I'm going to do it for nothing. It's like I've got, for example, all of these things like hand me downs. This is really hot actually. It's true. So like you got hand me downs, right? Hand me downs, and you can teach another person about yourself or about the world through things that you don't want anymore. Also, abuse tactics and things that don't work anymore. So, for example, somebody made a lot of money through cruelty or difference, and now they're using that money for a conservation project that you yourself are running. So, like somebody wants to help and invest in your business or your project because they have something to share. So, like we all have a certain thing that we don't want anymore, that another person thinks is wow, incredible. So, for example, if you have some many dreams, okay, that have already been answered, you know, and you have some kind of relationship or you have some kind of a connection with another person and you hand them some things that you have already done and you've already been a part of, it's a really beautiful way to connect community, you know, and also to see what is easy and cheap for you, what you can do with your eyes closed, what you can even give away. And another person might start to benefit from it by default. It's really good to be open. It's awesome to see the elders step up now with the Saturn situation, to Saturn to the nodes square, also with Sun. It's really fantastic to have people come to you and to be able and available to just give them things, like give things away, like come to my house, like this, I don't wear this that much anymore, or like that, I don't need this anymore, or like I'm actually really good at this, like listen, I got to tell you a story, or like I have something. So like if you are an elder, if you're like say over, depends, you know, sometimes elders are like in their 20s, like they're just masterful at something, you know. Your craft can make you an elder at 20s, in your 20s. For example, being an elder or like an expert or something is really incredible. Or if you completely worked out your life and got to know yourself by your early 30s, it is absolutely okay. For example, if you are in your 50s and you are getting into the time of the sage and you really want to tell people something or bring something, it's really important. Okay, we grow like trees, then we have fruit and we have to give. We can't just sit there like this, you know, it's like this is okay, or nobody wants to see this, or like nobody cares, the world is different. I feel like a clockmaker, a watchmaker, or like a gifted artist, or maybe even if you like once sang so many songs, and even if you are silent now, it's such a good thing to just give it away, like let the fruit of your life fall. So this is for the older generations, like I gotten really good at this, why don't I just give it away? So there's like a very, very nice peaceful time and peaceful era, peaceful energy, I think, for a lot of it. So like the blood, moon, Scorpio eclipse, you know, it can sound like a really, really scary category of eclipses, but it's not actually. It's just about stating yourself and accentuating and underlining those of us that do have masteries, that we do definitely have these masteries, like, and sometimes there's minis, like I am a master of travel, I'm a master of yoga, I'm a master of thought, I'm a master of tantra, I'm a master of food, I'm a master of understanding of nature, I'm a master of craft, I'm a master of art, I'm a master of anything. Sometimes many people know, and when you are an actual master, you don't even care that you are. So it's not like, I got this, I know how to do it, now let me show you I can. It's not like that. It's like you've already done it and you did it. And this is one of the happiest times that these moons, like these types of things can provide, is like, I got the worth, I got the ultimate fruit. So for example, after all, you know, after all said and done, after all of these like crazy things and thoughts in my head, I got it, I got the ultimate fruit, you know, or like I got the ultimate way of life, or I've completed these cycles, or I've totally aced it. And that sometimes makes very little sense to someone else if they're not ready for it. That's okay. Some parts of society don't need it, but it's not important. If you are there, Try to see yourself how you can shed fruit. And also, like, say, if you are very wealthy and you're ready to invest, if you are very healthy and you're ready to teach other people how to be healthier, if you make a lot of money and you know that other people may benefit from it, or if you make a lot of friends and another person needs these friends, or you can cook something cool by joining these people, joining the dots, helping community grow, helping your children or your children's children benefit from that which you bring, helping society evolve, helping other people become more part of you, more part of it that you bring, allowing another person to benefit from something that was maybe many years in the making for you, giving away your things, your clothes, your items, your anything. We are in spring still, you know, in the northern hemisphere, and we are in autumn in the southern. So, like, why not give away? It's like, hey, you know what? I have a whole cupboard of these. Why don't you just take it? You know, even if it is just like jars for jam that you don't want to make anymore, or if it's just like dresses that you can't wear anymore. It's not that bad. It's just important to be faithful and kind, whatever it meant earlier to have these things, you know. So, for example, this is a hard truth, having a divorce now, after years of marriage, having to face certain deaths. This is also like where we see karmas, understanding that some things are not going to be worthy as well, you know, understanding that maybe you need surgery, or you need to see a doctor, or you need a really good therapist to solve something, or you might not be able to keep all that money after the divorce, or recognizing that some things were even awful, or some things are in a down, you know. So it's like, and now I gotta really like go to the doctor and get this tooth removed, you know, like, wow, I gotta like go and make that big plan, like, but like I'm gonna lose all of this other stuff that I got. Like, there's a losing feeling. Eclipse often will bring that anyway. So if you are feeling that you've lost something, or you are in a place where you could be losing, or where there is a feeling of loss, or a sense of decay, or distance, or dissatisfaction, and knowing that you don't have something anymore that you once had, it's still time to celebrate, and after all, to decide what you want to do now. Some things are epic for you, so understanding where you want to go next, and knowing that, yes, you know, sometimes things shed that have been just sticking around for like hundreds of years, you know, it's like suddenly like losing or shedding a big part of your life, or even something shedding in your biology, or something being crazy and important for you now that used to be important for such a long time. We have to be very, very wise and giving and thankful and kind to every aspect in the group, and every aspect to every person, everybody, anything. Like, this is really, really wisening time. Like, for example, going through a death, or going through a divorce, or going through a parting. We don't just want to like put it on display, like, yeah, my divorce cost me this much, you know. It's not just that. It's we have to be in the heart and healing. And I'm not sure if you remember me talking about kindness and the need for human kindness during this month of May, to be able to focus on the right frequencies for your heart. And that's about it. I hope that this season is not too bad. I hope that it is nice for you guys, and I hope that it takes you places. Thank you very much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.